Today, I want to talk about like the number one complaint I get from clients who are just coming to me for the first time. And that is, why don't affirmations work for me? People talk about affirmations all the time. I see people using affirmations all the time. They seem to work for everybody. Why don't they work for me? And there is a reason for this, and it's because nobody teaches affirmations completely. People talk about affirmations, they tell you you can use them, but they don't actually teach you what's behind affirmations. So you end up using them basically wrong, which isn't your fault because no one taught you how to use them correctly. And so they end up digging you deeper into the hole you're trying to get out of rather than helping you get out of the hole, whatever it might be. So the first thing to understand about affirmations is that when you say, I'm abundant, for instance, and that little voice in the back of your head goes, no, you're broke. That's not true. It's not going to help you. That's not an affirmation that's going to help you. An affirmation is only going to help you if you believe what you're saying, because that's what manifesting spiritual levels of consciousness, manifesting your life from spiritual levels of consciousness is all about. Believing it to see it, not seeing it to believe it. It's about having that belief backing up what you want in life to attract it, basically. So if you're saying things that you don't believe, they're actually going to put out more energy towards what you don't want, because in the back of your mind, you're going, this isn't true, than it is going to put out any energy for what you do want. So how do we get affirmations to work for us? Well, it's as simple as actually coming up with words that allow you to feel what it is you're trying to feel. Because when it comes down to it, manifesting isn't, and spirituality in general, isn't about what you do. It's about how you do things. It's about how you are, not what you do in that sense. So the prettiest, floweriest, I am abundant affirmations, where they might make things worse, you could come up with something like, for instance, I used to use the affirmation, I have everything I need, I have everything I want. Because I could actually get behind that. And the other thing that you can do is, if you're finding yourself not being able to get behind an affirmation that you want to get behind, because you've got that little voice in the back of your head, stop yourself and say, okay, right now when I say I am abundant, I'm trying to attract money, but how are the other ways that I am abundant? You know, that's something that I did that really made a difference for me at a certain point when I was having issues attracting money the way I used to. Let's put it that way. And so I stopped myself and I said, okay, well, I don't right now believe that I am abundant when it comes to my finances. But what I do know is that there are so many other ways in which I am abundant. I can attract a free thing like there's no tomorrow. You know, if I want something, I can get it free. Like, I'll find people that are like, oh yeah, here, just have this. I've got an extra. Like, no tomorrow. I can manifest a free thing like nothing. I have so much stuff around me from when I was raking in the dough prior to lockdowns that I look around myself and I'm like, holy crap, I actually want to get rid of things. That's another way I know that I am abundant, because I've got so much stuff, I'm trying to get rid of it, not take more things in. Which is another reason why I am so easily able to recognize how easy it is for me to manifest free things from other people and other places, because I have people trying to give me things and I'm like, guys, I'm trying to get rid of stuff. I'm not trying to take in more. And so backing that affirmation of I am abundant with those thoughts and being able to see all of the other ways in which I am abundant help me believe that I can manifest whatever I want, whenever I want. And there's no reason why one thing that shouldn't apply to one thing in my life when I can do it with everything else. So you can start to see how whether you find different words to actually say, or you find different thoughts to put behind a given affirmation, it's not about the words, it's about the feeling. Because without the feeling, the words are useless and will actually quite literally do the opposite of what you want if it's creating the thoughts that are the opposite of what you want. So you can honestly, for the most part, let go of affirmations entirely if you want to. I'm not a big proponent of affirmations. The one place I actually use anything like affirmations at this point is when I'm doing the exercise of choosing again, which for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't seen my videos where I explain choosing again is basically when you have a thought that you don't want to be thinking, you stop yourself, and then you choose a new thought that is a thought you want to be thinking. And that thought has to be, like any affirmation, something you can actually get behind. The words of it have to be something you can actually, feeling, emotionally wise, get behind. That's the way I use affirmations these days. Otherwise, maybe sometimes they come up in journaling, but again, it's not so much about the words as it is just about the feeling that you're feeling. Because how you are emotionally determines how you are vibrationally. And that's what's going to get you or not get you what you're trying to manifest. That's what being a vibrational match is all about. Being and believing in what you want to be seeing, because that's how it works. You believe it to see it. That's just mechanically how our brains work. Like on a physical level, our perception of the world is based on what we believe, because our brain does a really great job of finding evidence for whatever it is we believe and actually like negating or like eliminating or just not seeing at all the evidence for the opposite of whatever we believe. And that's why we have two sides of our political spectrums that vehemently believe in the opposite things and feel like they have evidence, good evidence, for their own side, because that's what our brain does, is it finds the evidence and takes in the evidence that backs up what we already believe in, and just kind of puts blinders on to the evidence that negates it, that goes against it. So if you want to start seeing the opposite in your life of what you're seeing now, first of all, you have to figure out what you are seeing to be able to do that. But then you have to open your mind to the possibility of the opposite being true. Because if you can't do that, you're not going to be able to believe in the opposite anyway. And the best way to do that is by finding ways in which it is already true for you. And you can do this, I promise you. I help people do it all the time where they think that it is hopeless and that there is no way in which it could possibly be true for them. And then they start telling me about something and I go, oh, that's, like I'm like the blind spot, the master of blind spots. And really that's why my purpose in life is even possible, because we can see blind spots for each other that we can't see for ourselves. And it's why I can do what I do at all, which, is no real credit to me, I feel, so much as it is just that's the benefit of having someone else helping you in general. But my clients have to be able to talk to me to begin with, for me to be able to help them in any way. But anyway, we all have something in our lives that we can grab a hold of when it comes to the evidence for what we want to be true, because it is true. You're just not understanding that it's true. And so finding the things in your life that show you that it's true, that's the key to manifesting a new life in general, manifesting a different life in general. I'm no longer going to be using the word best. I've been inspired to find a different word for it, but I don't know what word I want to use just yet. We were last night throwing around the options of authentic or radiant, your most radiant life, your most authentic life. I'm not quite down with authentic at this point, because we are living our most authentic life at all times, and do need to learn to love ourselves as we are right now in order to raise ourselves to spiritual levels of consciousness and have a happy, healthy life. But that said, we want to leave the door open for more, because we are all capable of more. And when it comes to communication and those things we call words, best was the best thing I could come up with, have been able to come up with, but I don't like it, because it sets this precedent for us to need to compete with ourselves, with others, with not being able, it makes it so we don't necessarily love ourselves for who we are right now, when we're always reaching for more. That's the key to living your most radiant life in general, is finding joy where you are while still being open to more. And I'm trying to find a word that embodies that sentiment. We'll see if I figure it out. But yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you find that affirmations just really get you feeling the opposite of what they're supposed to be feeling, just forget about them. You don't have to use affirmations. They're not the end-all be-all when it comes to manifesting our lives the way we want them to be. And it really isn't about the words anyway. It's about how you feel, and finding evidence for the way you want to feel is really more important than finding the words to describe the feeling. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me for another video. Don't forget to check out those links in the description. I have my Patreon, where I just put up my free bi-monthly energy update last night. I am also putting up a journal exercise that goes along with this video on Patreon. So there's that. And as always, may the energies you serve you well. And let's keep making our way through. See you in the next one.